So that's been the biggest roller coaster, is thinking you're going to get her into a place, get her help that she needs or whatever, and then you get turned away.
Yeah.
Or, probably 2 years ago now, I bailed her out of jail in Skagit with the understanding that she would go to treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was calling the detox place here in Bellingham, and I said, my daughter's in jail, I'm going to bail her out, but only with the understanding that you will take her into detox and then send her to treatment, because I have no desire to just bail her out of jail. Oh, yeah. I called like 5 times and talked to people to make sure. So, bail her out of jail on a Thursday, go down there Friday, and they said, oh, well, she got out of jail, she was in jail, she doesn't need to detox anymore. Right. We're not going to take her. And then she was with, obviously, and she's went behind some bushes and was smoking heroin then, or maybe fentanyl at the time.
Heroin.
And they said, well, what's she doing? I said, well, what do you think she's doing? She's getting high. Oh, well, she can't do that on our property. You need to go. So here she is getting high,
right? And
they don't take her because she's clean or detoxed after being in jail. I mean, those have been the most frustrating.
Yeah. Well, I would really like to thank all of you for taking the time to meet with me today, even if it was like last minute and it feels weird. I just like to have conversations, really, so that I can give other people the real information from individuals that are having experiences in our communities. And so with that, if we could just introduce ourselves going around the table, let's just go to the right.
Sure. I'm Jerilyn Klix. I'm a deputy with the Sheriff's Office of Whatcom County. And yeah, I've been involved. I knew Kelsey growing up, and then I've gotten involved as a law enforcement aspect as well. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Kelsey. Kelsey, I get high.
Thanks, Kelsey.
Yeah.
I'm Karen, Kelsey's mom, and that's all.
We're in Bellingham, Washington, and the Bellingham Sheriff's Department has been kind enough to take us around and help connect us with other folks in the community today, so we can see the engagement between law enforcement and folks that are struggling. So, Kelsey, have you lived in Bellingham your entire life?
Almost. I spent like 6 months down in Orange County. I got shipped down to treatment down there.
I was going to ask because it's notorious in Orange County for treatment programs and sober living. It's all over SoCal.
It's a crazy racket down there.
It really is. You run into any body brokers in the process? So like that, have you ever heard of that?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so when my pictures went viral a few years ago,
body broker.
There were that I didn't know what they were either. So there are
new term for me.
Okay, so there are people that will target, especially if you have like addiction and recovery photos, they will grab onto those things, and then what they do is they market photos as though they're responsible for the recovery portion of that, and they rope people in, and they make money off of getting people into treatment programs that aren't necessarily proven. Somebody reached out to me the other day because I'm guessing there were some body brokers that came over to North Dakota, very rural area, over to Fargo, and on one of the native reservations, and were essentially brokering. So they're convincing some of these young parents, young moms and stuff, to go down to Orange County into some of these programs. And so the girl was asking me about the program, and I looked, and the treatment program, I mean, the website was brand new. So
that's
yeah,
concerning.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all about money, and it's a huge industry right now. Anyways, get off of that. Let's talk about. So how long ago did you go to Orange County?
2016, but like 2017 is like the when I was there, and there So my my mom has been drug testing me since like a very long time ago.
Off and on. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Sure. But so I learned a long time ago how to effectively pass a UA without with it looking like it's coming out of me.
Mhm.
And so, which is a detrimental skill when I don't need that skill. But they did a lot of UAs down at the treatment center, and it was 3 months of residential, and then once I got into outpatient, I was living in a sober living. There was 6 of us in a 3-bedroom house, and I was like running the sober living within like 2 weeks of moving in with a girl that had like less than a week of clean time.
Yeah.
So we were loaded so quick.
Oh, yeah, I
and
bet.
And the lady's still charging my mom $1,000 for me to be like sharing a bedroom with somebody else, and just it was bad.
Making money off of your
Oh,
situation.
absolutely. And then the treatment facility.
How much did they charge you guys for a treatment program for 90 days?
70,000.
Wow.
I can't remember now.
So, sorry to segue into this, but I mean, this is just really confirmation of, you know, what I expect, because it's a huge industry right now.
Well, is that covered by insurance at all?
We didn't have insurance for that at the time.
So you paid
And that
in
was
cash.
probably the whole,
the 3
3
months.
months that she was there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Inpatient. And
that's a
then-
lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, well, and let me ask you this. How was the 90-day treatment program?
I mean, the 90-day, I mean, it was fine in there.
Was it a clinical treatment program or?
I don't like.
Well, what kind of stuff? What kind of stuff happened inside of there?
So they had a bunch of longshoremen. There was a bunch
Okay.
of they had a contract with the longshoremen, so it was a bunch of longshoremen's kids. Like most of they were like 18, like really really young. I think I was 31 or so. So I was a bit older, and it was like I got sent back to high school a little bit. But it was a good program. They had like they definitely made a good amount of money. They had like we lived in like an apartment, like we had the whole apartment complex, and so I had like a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 other girls, and then there was just like apartments like all right there, and it was just they had like these vans that like creepo vans that they would cart us around everywhere too. But they gave us a lot, like we earned freedom as like the time went by, but like I don't.
What kind of steps did you guys do to address addiction issues?
So we had groups we had a group in the morning and a group in the afternoon with our counselor, and we would they would like take us on these little hikes, but that I don't know, not really a whole. Nothing really like groundbreaking, I guess.
Did they have a medical detox center connected with the program, or did they want you to detox before you went?
They did have a medical detox, and they convinced me to start taking Suboxone and then to do a quick taper. So I was like sick from coming off of the Suboxone for like a month after I got out of the detox.
How fast did they detox you once they put you on the Suboxone?
I think I was in there for 2 weeks. So I think it was probably 4 or 5 days and then they started doing like tapering it down. But I think I was in there for 2
Pretty
weeks.
fast.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that was 2016. So was it heroin at that time or was it fentanyl?
Heroin. It was heroin and benzos,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rough kick.
Yeah, not fun.
Yeah, no, not good.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, no kidding.
But no, I don't know that. I mean, there probably was fentanyl, or I mean, I don't know if there was fentanyl around.
Yeah, well, I feel
but-
like that was a little bit. That's why I was asking, because I feel like that was a little bit before fentanyl really hit the scene. Not that it wasn't, because I had a friend that died of a fentanyl overdose in 2017, so I know it was kind of
okay.
creeping its way in. But that might be my.
I was pretty resistant to fentanyl. I didn't I was pretty passionate about smoking heroin. Like I started smoking heroin when I was 19. I think 2004, 2005, and I tried shooting up once, and it was a really, really bad experience. Like I got cotton fever, and it was like you could not pay me to.
It's probably good that happened on your first.
I'm so grateful, grateful. But so I was really mad when like the blue, like everyone had blues, and it was like difficult.
Heroin was gone.
Yeah, it was really, really inconvenient for.
When did that happen? Like, when did the shift happen to where you just couldn't find heroin anymore? Because I've talked to a lot of people, and that's just the case. Like, there's no more heroin.
Not any consistent, like, no one has it, like, consistently.
No.
I think it was not this last summer, but the summer before was when I finally just, I think that's when it was.
When you had to switch over?
Yeah, or when like I ended up with a bunch of blues, and I paid myself back from somebody, and then I was just like gonna get rid of them or I don't know what I was gonna do with them, but then I was like, well, I might as well try one, and then it was like my body was like, the heroin, it didn't work. Like, it didn't get me well.
After you started doing the blues,
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, even if heroin does hit the scene, does it even...
No.
It doesn't even touch your addiction at this point.
No, I don't. It would just be a irritating and a waste of time to... I mean, I'm sure it would help a little bit, but not enough to where I'm gonna I'm not gonna pay for it. And it's crazy how much stronger the fentanyl is. Like if I sit back and think about it, because I've had like the same I didn't really. My addiction kind of stayed the same, like, as far as, I mean, there's only so much dope you can smoke in a day. So I didn't ever have like I'm doing 8 balls and
Right.
or what have you. But so then to switch to the blues, it was so different.
And so... Oh, go ahead.
Do you get high anymore? Or do you just avoid?
No, I don't. I mean, I think not really, not.
You just stay well.
Yeah, pretty much. When I was doing dark, I could get high. I felt like there was satisfaction in like a job well done, and with this, it's like it's just like it's kind of just a chore, and it's not like the high it's different, and it's like being on subs. Like, it's like I'm not sober, so like it's good, but it's not like it's in a different, like, I was aiming for here and I'm over here, and so it's.
And I was gonna ask that too. I was gonna ask, when you first did the blues, was it more intense? I mean, how did it affect you? Because like this is what I hear. People that have never done them, like it's this massive experience. But people who were already opiate addicts because they had heroin addictions, it's like, well, I'm just essentially like staying well, but then you can't even get high. And I've also heard that the high is much shorter.
It's so much shorter. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I used to be able to like go, 4 or 5 to 6 hours if I needed to. I mean, granted, I would rather have be smoking, but it feels like if I don't have I don't like foil, but if I don't have if I don't have the container and my dabber, I'm panicking to figure out where it is or what I like, and I know I don't have to have it all the time, but it feels like I have to have it all the time.
If you don't, it's gonna be
right.
Yeah.
What do you start feeling when you need it?
Like when I get sick?
Yeah, like when you feel like you need to use again. What are you experiencing?
I get the chills. I'll get my nose will start running, and it just kind of dope, you've caught in your head, or just stupid feeling, I guess. And I mean, I haven't had the pleasure of getting dope sick, actually dope sick. I've never kicked off fentanyl, to be honest.
Oh, I was going to ask you too, what's the difference between and have you?
I sure have no idea.
Most of my friends are terrified. I literally have had guy friends calling me crying because they're afraid to even go to detox, to be medically detoxed.
So I've done a tour of the methadone clinic over by the old Albertsons.
Mm-hmm.
And they said 96% of the people in there are fentanyl addicts. And
on top of the methadone.
Well, that are coming in they're there for fentanyl, not heroin.
Probably 20% is still doing.
Well, yeah, in Seattle, the methadone clinics don't require you can do fentanyl on top of the methadone.
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy.
The way they describe it is that their goal isn't to get you off of methadone first of all.
Well,
but
they're
it's also
paid by dose.
you have to taper it. So you start out with you're using illicit, and then they slowly have you change it over.
Oh, interesting.
And then that's how they get you to hopefully not be as sick.
Huh.
So it might be something worth looking into,
For sure.
because I
And
mean I know methadone
it only
kinda
comes
feels
in
like
a
it's-
nasty syrup, correct?
yeah, you go in every day. My
They
understanding,
have pills too, but usually if you're going to a clinic, it's
Yeah, you go in every
dosed
day
with
and-
liquid.
and you go every day for a certain amount of time, and they'll start sending you home with doses once you build trust, basically.
Right. Not
but
calling, pretending like you lost your script or whatever, trying to.
Well, I don't know that, and granted, I don't want to talk about something that I don't fully know about, but it doesn't sound like methadone itself gets you high.
Oh no, yeah,
so I
you
don't-
get very high on methadone. Methadone's a synthetic opioid.
No.
Yeah, it's a
It's-
synthetic opioid, and the higher your dosage,
But
the
it's-
higher you can get.
I guess it's legal, so I don't.
It's also extremely. It's worth you can sell it a buck a milligram.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really?
it's the same thing with all kick drugs, all replacement drugs. My niece died of a methadone overdose in April. When I was strung out on heroin, if I went in with an infection, because I would get very thin, if I went into the hospital, they would dose me on methadone so that I was too out of it, so I couldn't get up and leave the hospital, so I didn't leave with PICC lines in me and things like that. So no, methadone absolutely gets you high. So
If you don't have a habit, it's
even if
much,
you have, even
but
if
yeah.
you, yeah.
Even
Yeah, and you can dictate your dose with the clinics, and the clinics are paid based on how many times they dose you, so they're paid per dose. So Suboxone, on the other hand, has a different effect. It just depends on how much fentanyl you're doing every day. So Well, let me go back a little bit. How old were you when you started using?
19.
So that's opiates. Did you start using anything before you started using opiates? Or did you go okay.
Yeah, no, I started smoking weed in high school, and then I got like real strung out on meth, like early 2000s, like back when like ice was just showing up, or like it went from crank to ice, like, or glass, that's what they called it. And that was that like 6 months or like a year or something, and I like got really like, I mean, I looked like I was doing shards, and I was like super skinny and just like I'd gotten kicked out. I was trying to go to beauty school, but like some junkie had like stolen all of my brand new clothes for school, like just staying at some dope dealer's house, and so I called my mom, and I just walked away. I came back here. I went back to school and was actually like doing well, or doing, I was doing well. And then I moved to Seattle and continued going to beauty school down there. And it wasn't like, it was so easy to just to drop it and to just do something different. And I think I just keep waiting for that to happen for the longest time. I just expected that when I was done, I would be done with heroin or with opiates, and that's just, it's not real, or it's not realistic. It's not how it works. But it feels like it should, because that's my experience with what happened. But yeah, it's easy to get comfortable in uncomfortable, like an uncomfortable lifestyle.
Once you started smoking weed, were you pretty aware of that quick?
Yes.
Yeah. And she had some other, mental health stuff, depression going on. And
okay.
We went to a lot of different, therapists or counselors or whatever.
Flushed so much weed down the toilet. Called the cops on me a few times, me and Kayla.
Yeah. So, I mean, over the years, it's been, tough love, and then, harm reduction, and, just trying to find a balance of what can I put up with, and right now I'm putting up with a lot, because, she's through the courts is going to have to go to treatment. So I'm allowing stuff to go on because I know she's safe here. And
so has there been criminal court involvement?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you have charges pending right now?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's how long have you been back home?
This summer?
Yeah, over the summer she came back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've been dealing with this for a long time?
Yeah.
And so, what kind of emotional toll has this had on you as a mom?
Oh, I don't know if I can talk about it.
I'd really like it if you did, because I think some other people might need to hear it.
It's just really hard.
Yeah. How many nights did you not be able to sleep because you didn't know if you were going to get that call?
Well, when she was living at home and using, and then she would, leave in the middle of the night, that was harder.
Yeah.
When she wasn't living here, I could just go to bed, go to sleep, and if I get the phone call, I get it. So when she wasn't living at home, it was easier to, kind of compartmentalize and put that away. So, but like now this time, it's been okay. She's not leaving. So every once in a while she'll take off and go, and then comes right back and is pretty good about answering my phone calls or a text. But yeah, there's been many sleepless nights. And like when she went to California to the treatment place down there and went into sober housing and then got kicked out, but the manager didn't even tell me she was kicked out. but I had been calling Kelsey, so I called the manager lady to talk to her because rent was due.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, is Kelsey around? Oh, no, she got kicked out 2 weeks ago for drug use. And I said, well, when were you going to tell me not to send rent, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so she probably wouldn't have ever told me. I would just kept sending the rent money. And, I can't remember the name of the place that we went down in Seattle, Kirkland, or I don't know where it was. It was a hospital type place that she went to go to treatment, go get into detox. And they gave her some forms to fill out. And she had to write down all the drugs that she was taking, every single drug that she had taken. And then they did a UA, and a drug popped up that she had been using, and she hadn't wrote it on the paper, so they sent her away. If you're on drugs,
You're probably not going to remember every single thing.
exactly.
Well, and so many things are street drugs, right? So you don't know what
You don't know what's mixed in there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I know. I had been UA'd at a detox before and popped dirty for benzos, and I was just smoking crack and shooting heroin. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's at Lifelines they said that I was dirty for ecstasy the last
You're
time.
like, what?
I'm like, I don't really think that's I mean, he was like, we'll send it into the lab and we'll see, but I don't know if it's he said sometimes like the ephedrine, like the meth could make it look like
Yeah.
it. I guess they're closely related, or I'm not a chemist, but I'm like, I mean, why would I take ecstasy?
Yeah. Doesn't really go.
No.
The whole fentanyl thing.
No.
So that's been the biggest roller coaster, is thinking you're going to get her into a place, get her help that she needs or whatever, and then you get turned away.
Yeah.
Or, probably 2 years ago now, I bailed her out of jail in Skagit with the understanding that she would go to treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was calling the detox place here in Bellingham, and I said, my daughter's in jail, I'm going to bail her out, but only with the understanding that you will take her into detox and then send her to treatment, because I have no desire to just bail her out of jail. Oh, yeah. I called like 5 times and talked to people to make sure. So, bail her out of jail on a Thursday, go down there Friday, and they said, oh, well, she got out of jail, she was in jail, she doesn't need to detox anymore. We're not going to take her. And then she was with, obviously, and she's went behind some bushes and was smoking heroin then, or maybe fentanyl at the time.
Heroin.
And they said, well, what's she doing? I said, well, what do you think she's doing? She's getting high. Oh, well, she can't do that on our property. You need to go. So here she is getting high,
Right.
and they don't take her because she's clean or detoxed after being in jail. I mean, those have been the most frustrating.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's been a significant amount of criminal involvement. And so how many times have you thrown yourself at the court asking them to do something?
Yeah, the judges don't like it when you speak up in the courtroom. Kelsey doesn't like it either, but I've said, she was using drugs. You need to put her in jail. No, we need to send it off for testing. We can't. She needs help. She needs to be locked up. She needs to be accountable for her actions, and, hopefully this will, make a change, but they don't do that.
Yeah. So I just want you to know you're not the only person. And if you do log on to the channel, the first episode, actually second episode that was released, I think you'll be able to identify a lot with a lot of the things that both of you hear if you watch it also. So, Kelsey, how many times have you been arrested?
Oh, a few. I don't know. Up to a lot.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
What kind of stuff are you being arrested for?
Stupid stuff, like being parked on the side of the road and getting high in the middle of the night, and like the middle of Ferndale, or like what was the last thing I was arrested?
Was that a DUI then?
No, no. It was just I think I had warrants, and so I think they just took me in on my warrants. I think I was they didn't find they didn't find any drugs, and so they just had like paraphernalia, and so they were nice enough to not give me any new charges. But like smoking in the casino parking lot, like just or in the casino bathroom, I just not great life choices. But it's yeah, I don't know, just mostly, yeah, I get out and run, and
Like from the cops?
yeah, they're trying to kidnap me.
Right.
I'm not interested in sitting around and waiting.
Have you ever had to chase her?
I haven't.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I don't think
that was going to be my next question. Like, okay, so, on camera, like, you guys have known each other for a long time. Have you ever had to arrest your friend?
Mm-mm.
we've always had positive interactions.
Yeah.
In fact, all the times that I've worked with Kelsey on work-related stuff, you were a victim.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's been my involvement with her for the most part. So, and I don't know, I don't really know how have you afforded your drug habit?
Well.
And I'm not looking to charge you with something.
Oh no!
I truly am kind of curious. Like, because I don't
Because drugs aren't free.
Because I don't think I'm just going off memory. I don't think we have you on any like shoplifting charges or anything. But that would also probably be Bellingham.
No, I'm a terrible thief. So when I got arrested the first time in Skagit County, I got released at the same time as this terrible person who tricked me into going down to Everett, and her black boyfriend, her lovely boyfriend pimped me out down in Everett for a few days, but I wasn't really trying to make a bunch of, like, he was like, it was not great. He like took my money right away, and like it was and I was like super naive to any sort of like working, like I thought, because she said like, oh, we could like make a bunch of money, like if you want to, like, because I was dope sick, I was just getting out of jail. She's like, yeah, if you want to come down to Everett, like if you're willing to work, like we could really make some money. And I was like, yeah, like I mean I built a house, I've done a bunch of work. Like
your idea of work was different.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 33.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in 2018.
Okay.
So that was like 3 days, I think, 3 or 4 days. And then they just took off with all my stuff, stole my passport, and stole a bunch of whatever. And so then I found myself in Everett, like didn't have a phone, I didn't have my car, I didn't have anything, but I just found out like dudes will give me money for something I've been doing for free. So that's how I paid for it, pretty much, was I posted on like whatever sites for like a minute, and then I'm super flaky. I don't, like, if I meet up with one person, then I have enough money to get what I need, and I'm not like trying to be a superstar, like I'm not trying to save more money. So I've met enough people that are constantly disappointed that I don't show up, that I haven't posted in years, because I just I don't have to, but it was
kind of a regular way to
yeah,
To manage your
keep it going.
needs.
definitely,
Yeah.
but it's yeah, I can easily get a few $100 and like get get it and like say, hey, can I just grab the cash and I'll be back later for whatever, and they shouldn't, but they're willing to do that, and 9 times out of 10 I try and make it back, but it makes it difficult to like it's not it's really easy to get the dope, like, and so it's not like that miserable, like, I can't get well, like I can't, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do to figure anything out, to figure something out, and so it's good and it's bad, I guess, because I don't when I get treated like a shoplifter when I go into the stores, but like what you were saying, I didn't realize there was like I guess it doesn't surprise me that we all kind of probably look like zombies or whatever, but there's like a very specific look,
posture,
or, gait to us, that I get followed around every time I go in any store, and it makes me spend more money because I am like
trying to prove that you're not a shoplifter.
Like, I'm not stealing, like, f*** you guys, like, here, like, and I'll spend more money than I should have because just to like show them that like I have money, and which shouldn't matter, but thank you very much, but it does, or it can, and but I'm not quick in stores. Like, I'll just be I don't have a lot going on, so I just look at everything, and so I think the stores will think that I'm like trying to figure out how I'm gonna, like, I'll have a cart full of like bull that I don't really want, but I don't have anywhere I have to be, so I've had like the stores call the cops and have them like at like I should not ever go to Hobby Lobbies. There's too much of everything.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming, and I want all of it, and I
do the same thing.
It's awful in there. It's just not fair. But I've had
there's everything
stuff I didn't even know there was, but now I know about it.
And you didn't know you needed it until you looked at it.
Yes, but yeah, I've had cops show up at stores to like escort me out because
tell you to hurry up, move along.
Oh no, tell me to drop everything. We're leaving right now.
Oh, interesting.
When
because the store wants you to go.
Right. Yeah. But like they don't even let me buy like the one thing that I remembered I wanted. Like,
and it's hard because you're right, with a certain posture and a certain presentation.
And I've been in the store for 45 minutes.
I would assume the most common way to pay for a drug addiction is through theft or crime of some sort, right? So,
yeah. Unfortunately, you're grouped in with everybody else. What is your habit like today?
I think it's probably like a gram of powder, about a gram of powder a day, I think.
Are you doing anything else? Are you doing meth or anything else?
Oh yeah. Gotta stay awake to do more powder.
Yeah.
And I maybe a few points of meth a day, and that I could. I say I could take it or leave it, but when I don't have it, then I'm so tired to, like. But I'm not gonna go make anything happen for that. But but yeah, definitely doing both. But just both of those. No more benzos. I never want to kick up benzos again.
I've heard that's hard.
Yeah, it's like one of the worst. That and alcohol are the worst things to kick when you're dependent, and they can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were a little girl, What did you want to be when you grew up?
I don't know what I wanted to be so much.
Did you expect to be where you're at?
No, I didn't want to be this. I don't think I know I didn't want to be this.
Did you play sports? I forget.
Yeah, I did. I did track and I did fast pitch.
She was very interested in beauty school and doing hair and that, and left school, got early release or late arrival to go and help it, with a lady we know that does hair, and she would go and sweep and do intern type stuff. And then ended up going to beauty school, went up here in Bellingham for a little while, and then finished at G. Morez in Seattle, and got good grades and was very good at it. I think the mental stress of trying to please people with their hair,
People are terrible.
People, not me, but a lot of people, hair is a big deal. And if you don't get it how they want it to be, they let you know. And I think that was the hard part for Kelsey. She's good at what she does when she does it, but to have to try to please someone or tell them, oh yeah, this would look really good on you, and then they're not happy with it, was more than she could, handle at that time.
To deal with.
Yeah.
So with the charges that are hanging over your head right now, so they're mandating treatment.
Yeah.
What happens if you don't go to treatment?
I will probably eventually get sent to prison.
How much time are you looking at?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to know. I don't have any point. I have 1 point right now. Each felony is a point. Is that?
Yeah, but
Sure.
it depends. Yeah, each felony conviction is a point.
Okay.
So can I ask what the conviction that's hanging over your head is right now?
There's a couple. I've got a few. So during COVID, I shouldn't say. I understood.
Have you been through the court process all the way yet?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. Then you don't have to talk about it. So, yeah, I probably...
Do you have any actual convictions? Like with your previous point that you're talking about?
What about it? Yeah.
What was that for?
I stole a face mask from Target.
And they charge you with felony?
I was already trespassed from Target.
Oh.
So if you steal...
So it was like a felony criminal trespass or something?
It was a burglary.
Oh, because that's what happens after a criminal trespass.
Yeah, don't go back.
Don't do it.
It's all bad. Yeah.
And so now you got some other stuff hanging over your head that are prisonable offenses. Okay.
But treatment's an option in lieu of...
So they're trying to divert.
Yeah, I believe we're trying to either do drug court or the other one, DOSA.
Okay.
But
residential DOSA or
Yes.
DOC DOSA? Okay.
No, yeah, residential DOSA.
And so...
But my lawyer quit. And it's a case here, a case there, a case down different counties.
Are they going to do a universal... global resolution? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
they were going to, but then my lawyer didn't pass me off to someone else. He just
Public defender?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here in Whatcom County?
He was just so... I'm in the LEAD program, and my caseworker with that has been talking to the prosecutors and pretty much acting as my lawyer as much as he can, and they seem to be, from the sounds of it, they're all for doing the drug court or DOSA, but I do not have a lot of faith in my ability to
just stay clean.
Right, sure, because I'm not really, I'm not trying to, I'm not really trying to do this at all, but I am hoping once I get clean, I'll be happy that I'm clean or whatever, but based on 7 experiences of not wanting to do it, and it like it's just a lot of pain and mess and feeling like a failure to land right back here. But I really, really am not I really don't want to go to jail or go to prison. So it's where I'm at. So it's a better alternative, and I know it would make my mom really happy. So
If you got clean.
yeah.
Can I ask you a candid question?
Sure.
I've often wondered, I mean, because working at the jail, watching people go through withdrawals is so horrible, right? I mean, it looks so painful and so horrible. After going through withdrawals and being clean, how is it not too frightening to try again?
That's such a good question. Somehow my brain doesn't remember. I mean, it remembers. It hates the detox, but it also remembers how good it feels to not feel, and that is that's louder, I guess, because it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's also like a tomorrow Kelsey. Like, I'll get dope sick again, but like not right now. So I won't have to deal with it now. I'll deal with that later, and then when later comes, I'm never ready for it, and then it's just wash, rinse, and repeat, I guess.
Like when you go through withdrawals and because with the treatments, when you left treatment, you were sober, right? Mm-hmm. How did that feel?
It felt really good. It felt kind of, it was a little bit overwhelming, but it felt like I could choose to, like, I could make choices and do, like, it was really nice to be able to, like, oh, I could go camp, like, I could go camp, or I could, like, go on a road trip, or I could go, like, somewhere, and that's so far from my reality right now, like, of, like, I can't even, like, go to Linden barely without, like, making sure that I have enough everything to be okay with it, and that's what I remember, liking the most, was the, like, feeling free. Yeah.
That is what it's like for an opiate addict. You have all kinds of big hopes, plans, and dreams, and you plan stuff, especially when you're super high, but you can't make it out of your neighborhood because you can't be without your dope.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter how much you accumulate, because by the time you actually get in the car to go, you've already used most of it anyway.
Yep.
And then next thing you know, you're still stuck, and it's just like, it's like a hamster wheel.
So when you're at the end of your treatments, have any of these treatment programs worked on, like, your emotional regulation, or, giving you kind of life skills?
No.
They don't do that in treatment.
Do you think there would be an advantage to a longer treatment that involved stuff like that?
Is that a thing?
Well, part of
thing
her,
that people are working on. Yeah, specifically me, but yeah.
part of what she's working on is convincing the public and legislatures, and then also idea brainstorming of what we have isn't working, right? And so,
yeah.
And that people that don't
would
get
work?
it are the ones that are making the decisions and creating the processes for people. I believe that if you haven't been to hell, you don't know how to navigate your way out of it. And we have a whole bunch of heaven dwellers creating processes for us.
Because 90 days sounds like a long time to somebody who's
90 days is
never
nothing.
been through it, right? But 90 days is, I think, proven to not be enough time, because otherwise we wouldn't have so many people cycling through these programs. So what do you think, and I know that this is putting you on the spot, and so, it's probably not fair. But, like, is there anything that you've thought of that you're like, man, like, this place is jacked because it doesn't include this? Or is there something that you think would be helpful to keep you sober or to get you on a sober path that hasn't been tried?
I think making my having enough time to get myself into schooling, like so I need to replace I spend all of my time like with drugs, doing drugs.
And have you been loaded since you were a teenager?
Yeah.
So, and how old are you right now?
39.
Okay, so more than 20 years then.
Yeah,
so
about half my life.
You've been loaded. So you've created these new patterns that have eliminated, and I don't know, and you could probably both talk to this, but I don't know about you, but my teenage daughter, and I'm certain that I was a nightmare, except for I was loaded, so I don't know. My kid always, people tell me, well, when you're a teenager, I'm like, no, I was smoking crack. So I don't really have anything to compare it with, right? But I can tell you that my teenage daughter is only starting to learn how to regulate her emotions. And so when we start to use chemicals to use that process, right, to regulate our emotions, and then we become dependent on that, then it's like when you take away the substances, everything is really raw and uncomfortable. And then there's the voice of the drugs that exist and that whisper to you really quietly in your own voice and remind you of how comfortable it feels when you don't have to deal with that because it's uncomfortable, and it takes time and it's a process, and so it's hard. And so that is the benefit of that separation, right, of those involuntary processes where you help a person stay suspended until they get that moment of clarity, and you're inputting, right, all these processes to help them navigate. That's what I had to do, because when I'm in my addiction, I promise you the last thing, like when I'm using, we're not having a discussion about not using, right. It's not until I'm coming down in a miserable place and don't have access to the drug that I'm like, maybe I hate this. Maybe this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And either I need more drugs right now or like something's got to give. Have you ever gotten to that? Something's got to give?
No.
Are you afraid of that place?
I'm not afraid of it. I have been, I've had a very strong advocate kind of guiding me in that direction for a very long time. And so I don't know what that feels like. But besides being in jail, puking in my bin, and knowing that I don't know a person that I could call that would bail me out. But that's not really, I don't think that's really the same feeling.
Well, it usually comes after that. Yeah, it comes after that misery of
right.
that discomfort.
Yeah.
Did you stop bailing her out?
She did not start bailing. She
hasn't, except for that one time.
Yeah, I've bailed her out twice.
Yeah.
And the first time, it was like her first arrest.
Yeah.
And I was panicked and, oh my gosh, we got to
my
get her out
baby's
of
in
there.
jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and then after that, I was like, nope, not doing that again.
Yeah.
But, then this last time, 2.5 years ago, when I did bail her out, because she said, I will go to treatment. And so, but here we are.
Yeah.
Not in treatment.
Yeah.
I tried.
No, I know.
I was showing them.
Do you remember your first time in treatment?
Yes.
When was that?
That was Residence 12, right?
Oh, yeah, I know about that place. It's over in, isn't that it's in King County, Res Trust.
Redmond?
Oh, yeah, it's over in King County. Yeah.
And so you started using when you were 19. When did you go to treatment the first time?
21. I think it was 21.
Yeah.
It was 2006 or 2000. It was 2007.
And
How
then
does-
how many? What was your intervals after that? If we get to 7.
So it was residence 12 and
That was a 28 day.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a bunch of middle-aged drunks.
Right. Affluent women from the east side.
Yeah, it was all
King
women's.
County. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Residence 12.
They're like, you did what?
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Like, yep, I fit in here.
This is great. So residence 12. Then I went to the center twice.
Wenatchee?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I went to treatment there back in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the push button shower.
Yeah. I mean, it was a long time ago. I was in my 20s, so very long time.
They do you know they have like underpassage, like,
I feel like I remember that. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
where the center was like the nuns quarters, and then they had like underground passage to there was a church, I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh, they have like tunnels.
Yeah. So I don't know what the benefit of running quickly to the church was, but that place closed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
A lot of treatment centers closed, especially a lot of abstinence-based treatment centers have closed.
I went to the center was choice theory.
I don't remember. It was a really long time ago. And of course, I got loaded right after I got out, so I'm sure you can identify.
Yeah, I definitely can. I'm pretty sure wherever I learned about choice theory, I really liked that better than the 12-step option. It made more sense in my head of like why I'm clearly not, like, if logic was all there was, like, if I just needed logic, I would,
Probably wouldn't be an addict.
yeah, I'd be super sober.
Yeah.
But understanding like it's not just the feelings, but it's like how I react to the feelings, and like I have the ability to control how I react to the feeling. I don't have the ability to control how I feel
The
about
feeling itself.
Yeah. And I mean that made more sense to me than anything that I ever learned in a 12-step group, which is it. But I mean, like, if there was like a treatment facility that like taught, like, domesticated you, like, 'cause I have no, like, I didn't get that lesson ever.
Well, like when you were talking, you start using as a teenager, and emotionally that's kind of where you're you're stuck. And so then you're in your 30s and you quit using, and you don't really know how to balance a checkbook. You don't know how to
You don't know how to do
Yeah.
anything.
Just basic skills.
right.
Yep.
You don't know to make dinner at a certain time, or
Or how to make dinner, maybe.
right. Yeah. So how to not just eat sugar that destroys your teeth, and to eat healthy, and
Yeah.
so
That totally makes sense.
I think it's really important to point out, because I disqualified myself for a really long time because I made adverse choices, in comparison to what society thinks is, a specific sort of path. And I had to, because I shamed myself and demeaned myself for a long time because I thought I did everything wrong and obviously everybody else did everything right. And I wasn't able to take into account that I actually had skill sets that got me to where I was. And so I just didn't like the outcomes that continued to result from my choices, right? And so when we get into these spaces, when we decide, whether it's you getting locked up or you getting into a treatment program and you've been separated long enough to where some of your clarity really does start coming back, recognizing the value and how you've gotten yourself to where it is that you are, right? And we can just sort of reattach the details. It's like putting on the hoodie that you have on right now instead of a puffy coat, right? So you just get the opportunity to change the dressing on your framework so that, we stop shooting ourselves in the foot, essentially, right? And so with that being said, What would you like your life to look like 5 years from now? And is that something that you've even thought about other than just the next one?
I would like to be able to finish a task easier. I think that's that. But I don't.
When do you remember being able to finish a task from beginning to end?
Well, it's never really been a strong suit of mine.
Right. But how much has drugs? Because this is what I can tell you. I mean, I can identify drugs help me to spin out in circles, start many things, and then lose the entire path and forget even where I was for hours and sometimes days.
Just gotta walk away because it's too much.
Yeah. So how much have drugs impacted your ability to finish a task?
Oh, exponentially. I don't. Too much. I can't. I don't even know that I could. A lot. An awful lot.
When you're sober, do you feel like you can finish tasks? Like the few times that you remember being sober?
Probably. Maybe. It's been. I don't know when the last time I was sober without like being on Suboxone or being like
truly sober.
Right. But I think probably.
Do you think you could see yourself in an apartment?
I guess I bet I probably not right now.
If you were to get sober.
Yeah, I hope. I think I could do that. I know that I've had apartments before. I know that I can like be an adult and do adult stuff. It's so far, like it's just so far from like I'm not gonna hope for it, right? Like but I think that's probably something that would be pretty helpful in not feeling like I feel.
Do you think it's attainable for you?
I mean, not this me, but I think like yeah, I think so. I think if I give myself a chance to try.
When are you supposed to go to treatment?
She
call.
needs a physician,
a
prescribing physician, to get her into the place here in Bellingham, and that's what we're hoping to do. She had a bed date for what was the place called in Spokane? Or was it Spokane?
ABHS.
Yeah, and
I said I'm not getting out of prison.
But
yes, it's predominantly prison.
I mean, 90 days is a long time, if we were to go and visit her.
It's cold in Spokane.
Yeah, and to have to worry about the past in the wintertime, not that it wouldn't be doable, but preferably, if there's a place here in Bellingham local, I would much rather she's there, and, we could be more involved in, whatever treatment plan she's at, and like aftercare and stuff like that, because that's what I find is the most frustrating is, she can go to treatment, but then there's no follow-up, there's no aftercare, there's no safety net for, okay, you've used again, let's, that happens, let's get back on the horse and, figure out what went wrong, and so, because, I'm not equipped to be her aftercare person, her counselor, her, jailer and, judge, and I don't want that relationship with her, I don't want to have to be, watching her every second and, making sure she's not using. But it's scary.
It's super easy to stay clean in treatment,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's when you get out and
You're just
there's
thrown
so
to
much
the wind.
yeah, there's so much time, and I just realized how many skills I'm currently not feeling like I have.
So the courts are requiring the treatment, right? And
Yes.
so are they entering you into drug court, or is this a preliminary?
In Skagit County, they're trying to they were the ones that got her a bed date in
Okay.
Spokane. And that's when I said, is that dual diagnosis? Because she needs that. And because I've been advocating for her too with her, prosecutor down there in the
There's a dual
probation.
diagnosis program that I'm aware of called BICOR. I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but they have definitely rely a lot on mental health and the addiction piece.
And that's here in Washington State?
Yeah, I'll have to look it up really quick and see where it's at. I'm not sure if it's still open. So many things have closed down.
I know.
So
yeah, PCN closed down.
yeah.
But
So that's PCN.
So I mean, that's my thing is, what happens after the treatment.
Yeah.
Well, I think being in drug court, from the sounds of it, they're pretty.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good stick instead of the carrot for you after you get out of treatment. That, if you fail out, you go to jail or prison, whichever it is.
Well, and they give you like the worst, like they give you like the longest sentence that they can.
Right. Yeah.
Which just logically does.
Because they know that they need a big carrot.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about it though. Like, unfortunately, it's not. That's why I'm using is to not think. Like, when I fuck up, I can't. I don't want to deal with that, and so that's why that's what starts the whole thing is feeling guilty or up again, and now I'm gonna have to deal with it, or I've already up, it's insane. Like I don't know how my brain doesn't like highlight all of like the terrible, like all the bad things that it's brought me in, instead of like it being the opposite where I can forget all of the times of like, waking up and realizing that I like shit my pants and like just like I don't know, but for somehow like.
So our next hurdle to get her into treatment is to get a prescribing physician to be able to prescribe psych meds.
Yeah.
To get her into here in Bellingham.
So specifically psych meds?
Mm-hmm. So Lifeline, who we're going through, can't get her in to see someone till the end of December. So
the place I had talked to said they have a 2-week. Their waiting list is about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So that's not as long.
Yeah.
Who typically prescribes your psych meds, or do you take psych meds?
No, she hasn't been on anything. But in order to get into Baker Creek up here, she has to have a physician that can prescribe
That
them.
in case.
Yeah.
And so at that treatment center, do they have a psychiatrist that they see? And then
I don't know.
it's always so scary to me when a person hasn't been clean long enough to actually get an accurate diagnosis.
I have no
And then
interest
yeah.
I have no interest in taking any psych meds till at least
I'm really happy to hear
a
that.
few months out.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because it's a really common thing to diagnose drug side effects
Right.
with a mental health diagnosis and then medicate somebody for
Right.
yeah, it's
for not being able to actually be clean.
Yeah.
So
or like I mean it's so unfair to like have me try and figure out what is or isn't just withdrawal
Right.
symptoms and
yeah, or just long-term drug use effects, right? That actually clear up after being clean for a period of time.
very true.
So
Yeah.
how long do you stay in Baker Creek for if you get in there?
It would be 90 days, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's outpatient, but in a, like you can walk around and stuff, right?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think it's inpatient, but I don't know.
I don't.
I mean, you live there, but it's not like a lockdown campus, I don't think.
Oh yeah, I don't think they have any lockdown. I don't think they can have any lockdown unless you have like a mental health where like a judge takes your ability away.
Involuntary commission.
Yeah, because I know PCN used to, but the last time I went, you didn't even have to climb over the fence. You could just walk out the door.
Handy.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine what your life might be like if you decided to stay clean?
Because no, because I don't.
Yeah.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Who wants to wish for things that are unattainable or feel unattainable at the moment?
So are you guys willing to stay in contact with me so that if you go through treatment and you stick with it and your life starts to change, will you do a follow-up show with me?
Sure.
Because I'd really love that.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to show people that it's possible, especially when people probably might see this and be like, oh, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it. It's probably not going to happen. And then the next thing you know, it actually happens and your mom has her daughter back and you have a life that you didn't think you could actually ever attain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be something else.
Can I tell you what it sounds like?
Please.
From somebody on the outside? It sounds like you want a sober life, but you don't have faith in yourself.
I have no faith in myself.
But people around you have faith in you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the unfortunate thing is, I feel like if we could just find a way to get you to see your potential.
She probably won't see it when she's loaded.
So the question is, how do we get you to where you can see it?
Mm.
And that's a rhetorical question, right? Hopefully, while you're going through Baker Creek, you can just really lean heavy into the people that are going to be reaching out to you, like your mom and your dad, that are saying, we have faith in you.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like mine and Kelsey's relationship is much different, and I'm thankful for that than most people that have addicted children. I mean, we haven't ever been estranged per se. I mean, she's run away, or not run away, but disappeared, like when her car and phone were stolen, and she had no way of contacting me easily. I would have to go and find her or put out a thing on Facebook saying, have you seen her? But she hasn't ever been violent towards us, or we've always been close. So it would be nice to have her fully functional as a person and be able to go on family trips and do fun things.
You'd like your kid back.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that my brother's kids were still having birthdays. It took me a couple years to realize that I just wasn't invited to them anymore. I was like, God, those kids haven't had a birthday in a while. It's weird. But, yeah.
Thanks for meeting with me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope to hear your success story. That's what I hope for.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
If not, I bring stuff into the prison, so I'll see you there.
Perfect.
It's not over between us.
Very nice.
Yeah. You'll be like, oh, I know her.
Where do I recognize her from?
Yeah.